for all of you that saw my reaction to the new Predator trailer, you totally understand how I feel. If you haven't, it will be linked to this video. Drinker is a funny guy. I definitely got to see what he thought. Knowing him, he thinks similar to me. Let's check this out here.
On with Disney, if there's an IP out there with a hint of gas. One thing you can always count on with Disney, if there's an IP out there with even a hint of gas left in the tank, they will ride that thing until the wheels fall off, and probably keep going for several more miles, leaving a trail of sparks and flaming wreckage in their wake. And two of the biggest IPs to fall under their dark influence during the Fox merger were Aliens and Predator, both icons of pop culture that boast at least, 2 good movies each.
Yeah.
And well, we've already seen how that turned out for Aliens. Get away from her. You bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Singly.
The surprise success of Prey on Disney Plus, and damn man, they must have regretted not giving that one a theatrical release, seems to have convinced them that there's plenty more mileage to be gotten out of the Predator franchise. And so, the floodgates have opened and the sludge is in full flow. Case in point, Predator Badlands, an upcoming standalone movie from Dan Trachtenberg, the same guy who directed Prey. The first teaser dropped a few days ago, and everyone was abuzz about one thing. Okay, look, I know that appearances can be deceptive, and sometimes the VFX are a bit unfinished in shots like this, and...
I want to speak to that. Movie studios should never, ever, and The Rock means never, release any trailers with unfinished visual effects shots. It makes no sense. You make your trailer with what's finished. Because if you don't, it looks like your movie sucks. See, if they in fact do this, people that aren't in the know, the normies, the people that are just regular moviegoers that go from time to time, they go to see Tentpole, or they do a movie and dinner night type of thing, they're not going to know. Okay? Me personally, I've been hearing this for years that they do stuff like this. And the fans always come out and cope. Well, wait! It's probably going to look better in the film when it comes out. And every single time in my 13 years on YouTube, they're wrong. Every single time the fans come out and cope for something that looks horrible in a trailer, it looks the exact same in the movie. Stop it. It is a visceral betrayal. Stop it. Okay? Thank you.
Blah, blah, blah. But holy shit, was this a mistake? How is it that a high-profile movie made in 2025 somehow looks less convincing than a mid-budget sci-fi action flick from the 1980s?
Look how good that looks. That is some of the best makeup work of all time. Best suit work of all time. I don't understand. Is this some type of hybrid or some type of different species, which we know that they do have? If you've watched Predators, you know that there's different types of predators. Okay, so the weird thing is that the hair is down the middle. And here, even though it's not really hair, their feeling appendages, their sensory appendages are on the sides. Are you telling me as they develop, since this one is adolescent, the skull slowly moves them to the sides? Is that what's happening? Like, I don't know. But this is some of the best stuff of all time right here.
I mean, just take a moment to look at the original Predator from 1987. Look how much detail...
Yo! I stopped it to talk about it! He's doing the same damn thing! We understand each other.
there is here. Look at the droplets of water on its skin, the complex markings and patterns across its face, the deep-set eyes that are barely visible, the jaw...
My issue was that it had a weird, smooth, uncanny valley, CGI look to the face. That was my particular problem. Like, I had assumed it was a different species or it might be younger already, but I was like, what is wrong with these effects? And half of the fandom or more is, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to do a poll to see what everyone thinks of the new Predator's face. Okay?
The balls moving and twitching, the long tentacles hanging down around its heads. It's an incredible piece of creature design and complex animatronics that's just as iconic and alien and terrifying as the xenomorphs were. Then look at old Lumpy here from Badlands. It looks like something that just wandered in from the set of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. The skin's all rubbery and out of focus.
Yeah,
there's no
weird.
Surface detail or droplets of water rubbery. Or smears of dirt or anything at all to indicate that this thing is actually physically present.
Yeah.
Also, why in the name of holy does it have a side shave? I mean, you understand that those things growing out of the side of the Predator's head aren't actually hair that can be cut and styled like human hair, right? Showing it in broad daylight was also the worst possible decision because every visual flaw and shortcoming is exposed for the whole world to see. Look, I'm under no illusions about the original prosthetic either, right? There's a very obvious reason why movie monsters like this and the xenomorphs are usually shown in darkness. All those shadows and pale moonlight help to hide the moving parts, disguise the fact that it's basically just a stuntman in a rubber suit, and make the whole thing look a whole lot more intimidating than it probably was. That's fine, it's part of the magic of filmmaking, and it worked. Filmmakers back then understood the visual limitations of the tools they were working with and found ways to enhance them instead of undermining them. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about the trailer itself.
I don't care whether she died in the movie or not. If I'm making a team of women to accomplish a fantastical goal in some fantastical movie, Vasquez is on the team. Ripley is on the team. Sarah Connor's on the team. Wonder Woman's leading the team. Okay? What's her name? From Eve is on the team. Samus is on the team. You see what I'm saying? Woo!
The plot, as far as I understand it, is that a young predator has been banished from his homeworld for being or something and ends up on some remote planet where he teams up with a Wayland Yutani android to take down the biggest, baddest monster in the area to prove himself worthy of a place amongst his own people again. In a nutshell, the Predator is now the protagonist of the movie this time around.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I mean, I'll at least give them credit for doing something a bit different with this one. There's only so many times you can pit a group of guys with guns against a lone predator that kills them off one by one while they slowly come to grips with the enemy that they're facing, and conceptually it's a neat idea to mix things up a little and flip.
Yeah, I never minded the idea of the Predator being the protagonist. I also don't mind the same thing over and over again if you do it right and you do it just different enough to make it better or good or different. Good in a certain way, you know what I mean? Like, how many times do you have to see a Friday the 13th movie? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, you know? Or, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, a bunch of kids having nightmares. They got to fight Freddy off. Okay, the end. Okay, a bunch of teenagers at camp or, you know, campsite having sex and Jason's killing them all. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. Michael Myers still chasing his sister, but in the meantime, he's killing a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? It's the same formula over and over, but people still like to go see those movies. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
But the dynamic here, I'm just not entirely convinced that an 8-foot tall monster whose entire vocabulary consists of and is the kind of protagonist that audiences are likely to get behind. Also, and this could be just a personal thing, but I'm not sure I want to know more about the predators as a species. I don't really want to know what their society...
Keep some of it secretive, so there's that mystery and wonder to it, because I guess that kind of has gone bad for the Alien movies with them revealing more, or at least the way they've done it.
or their homeworld looks like, or how they interact with each other, or what they get up to in their spare time. Much like the xenomorphs, their fascination always lay in their mystique. The movies would drop little hints about larger events and a more complex social structure, but we were still mostly kept in the dark about them, and that was unquestionably a good thing. As I've said many times before, questions like this are usually way more interesting and compelling than any answers a filmmaker.
I always thought that shot was weird. He looked like he's asking for a hug. I thought it would have been better if he was coming at him. You know what I'm saying?
Just ask Ridley Scott. The attempt to merge this movie with the Alien franchise is another red flag for me, because every time these two IPs have tried to crossbreed, the results have ranged from mediocre slop to painfully bad to downright baffling. The connection here is Thea, a Weyland-Yutani android from an unknown time.
As you all know, I love AVP Requiem. Yeah, because in that, Wolf is no joke. Wolf is so badass that it detracts. It makes up for a lot of parts of the movie that just aren't that great. You know what I'm saying? But I own that. Okay? Super hi-fi HD. All that extra stuff. Okay? I own it. And every time I watch it, I watch all of his parts and I'm good to go. He went toe to toe with an alien queen. A predalien, an alien queen. Man, look, he fought his own species and the xenomorph all hyped up together. A hybrid. You know what I'm saying? Man, that dude's no joke.
Period in the Alien franchise, who seems to have ended up on the same planet as the big lads.
Right.
It's too early to tell what her function in the story is or why she's actually here, but I can't shake the horrified feeling that her presence is laying the groundwork for another Alien vs. Predator movie, or God help us, an entire cinematic universe of this crap. The one point of light at the end of the tunnel here is Dan Trachtenberg, who's pulling writing and directing duties this time.
Please tell me what that movie is.
On Prey. That movie might not have been perfect, but it was a decent start.
No, it was not perfect.
Slightly different with the Predator franchise, and although I think people cut it way more slack than it probably deserved, it was still miles better than the loose collection of lazy callbacks and cheap nostalgia bait that we got in Alien Romulus.
I don't know about that.
The reason I bring all this up is that Prey also suffered from a pretty underwhelming trailer that people were quick to dismiss as
some
a
of those callbacks
Disney
were
girl
stupid.
boss sludge fest, only for the movie itself to turn out way better than expected. So I don't want to write Badlands off completely here. It could still turn out to be a decent addition to the franchise, but man, I think it's about time we accepted that we're never going to recapture the magic of the 1987 original, and anything we get now is just a pale imitation of stuff that's already been done far better. But trust me, as long as there's anything remotely left to be milked out of this franchise, Disney will find a way to make it happen.
When I watch them, I usually watch Predator 2. I don't watch Predator 1 that much because the first Predator is a great first watch because of the mystery of what's going on. You can't see it, all that stuff. So it's kind of slow in the beginning, even though Arnold and his crew is taking out stuff. It's kind of slow because you're like waiting to see it. You know what I'm saying? But the mystery's gone by Predator 2. So Predator 2 is plenty of action, plenty of killing, plenty of hunting, all that stuff. I love that about Predator 2. And I thought Danny Glover was really good in that, him and Gary Busey. I thought they were really good in that. I ended up watching AVP over showing Scarlo because she hadn't seen it. And I liked it more than I did the first time I saw it. And I was like, I actually like this more now. I remember not liking it very much because I felt that the Predators were more badass than the Xenomorphs. And the fact that I had to accept in their lore that this Xenomorph is the ultimate prey type beast, like it's that dangerous, I didn't feel that. So it was hard for me to see those young predators getting taken out like that. Like, it was irritating me. Hard. Irritating me, man. And the fact that the one got caught, I'm like, when it, because the way the scene happens, they live it ambiguous. Then, of course, at the end, it pops out of them. But I found that, I was like, come on, Predators. I thought you were more badass than this. So then when Requiem came around, I was like, look at this dude. He is no joke. Who is this Predator? He's my favorite Predator of all time. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to get a statue of him. I'm going to have to get a statue of him. A wolf. I'll have to see if they sell any. Put him right back there with the rest of them. But yeah, I never watched Predators or what is it? The Predator, that horrible one that came out. It's such garbage. Yeah, but I watched both AVPs. I watched the first one again, the second one again. Am I missing one? I'm not sure. I've only watched Prey once. I'm going to check that out again one of these days to see how I feel about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and just a heads up that we're down to the last few days on our Kickstarter campaign for Trial by Fire. The
Trial by Fire.
And we've raised over £250,000.
Make sure you get over there and donate to the Critical Drinker.
Go away now.
Oh, man. Well, if you enjoyed my reaction and thoughts, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all later. 10 million subscribers. Woo!